afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, for joining here. Let's congratulate our next speaker, Ram Prakash, on becoming MVP 2023, and a big round of applause to him.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
For all his contributions to our platform and also the Dynamics community. We are giving a stand ovation to Ram Prakash Duraisamy with this particular our Champs community and on a special event. We take this privilege to congratulate Ram Prakash for his MVP recognition for 2023 and look forward to see more like these kind of awards and appreciations to Ram Prakash. Moreover, he is also an power user who is there for the community. So, with that, just let us start our session.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
That was a good introduction. After my first MVP, I'm just taking this session. That was unexpected one, and yeah, thanks Venkat, and thanks team D365 Champs team for again provided me this opportunity to have a sharing my knowledge in the community, and thanks to Dynamicity as well as a sponsor for this one. So yeah, so shall we
Yeah.
start the session?
Yes, yes. Just give me some time so that
Yep,
our Avinash will give you some introduction about
yep,
yourself so that you
yep.
can take some kind of water.
Yeah.
So, guys, all are ready, right, for the next part of the session? Yes, I think all are ready. So, Avinash, you can start the introduction.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Venkata. And Ram Prakash, I'm really glad to see you with the same smile that you hold on your DP. Yeah, very nice. So, yeah, everyone, good afternoon and welcome to the second session post lunch. So till now we have covered with the keynote by Anshul Gupta, and after that we have seen the four different sessions on the Power Platform as well as Dynamic 365. And after the break, we are still having four sessions. The first of it is by Ram Prakash. So welcome to the Global BizApps Weekend 2022, powered by D365 Champs. We hope you are doing well and keeping safe. I'm Avinash Badguzar moderating this session along with Mr. Vivek Patil. This session is presented by Ram Prakash Duraisamy. Ram Prakash will be talking about how to create Power Apps and call Unbound and Actions using Dataverse. About Ram Prakash, he is a MCT and MVP, power user working extensively with D365 customer engagement and Power Platform. He's carrying over 11 years of experience. He has also worked with very early versions of CRM like 2011 and seen the evolution of CRM. He has also a blogger and speaker who loves sharing his knowledge. Before I hand over this session to Ram Prakash, I would like to mention you that if you are having any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat window. We will take them during the session, if possible, or during the Q&A time.
Yep.
Okay? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Over to
you.
you, Ram Prakash.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let me know once you can able to see my screen.
Yep.
Yes, it's visible.
All right. Okay. Cool. So yes. So today we are going to see a session for how to call a bound and unbound action from Canvas Power App. So it's like, for example, when we are creating an action in the Dataverse, or we can say Microsoft Dynamics CRM, so we can directly call from a button or from a plugin workflow or such kind of activities available. So now here I'm just going to explain how to call that via Microsoft Flow, and how to retrieve a value from the action from the Dataverse environment, and how to show that the response in what can I say, the Canvas Power App. So to begin with, so let's go with the agenda. So we are going, I'm just going to have a small self introduction. I think Venkat and team have done the self introduction, and I'm just going to explain short about what is bound and unbound action, and what is the difference between retrieve and retrieve multiple here, because that is related to the bound and unbound action. Then what are the prerequisites which I'm just using today for the session, and we'll go with a demo and a Q&A session. So let's go with, so yes, so as our team explained, I have 11 plus years of experience, and here are the blogs. I just share the blog URL, and what can I say, the LinkedIn ID and my Twitter ID post this call. So let's go with what can I say? Retrieve and retrieve multiple. What is the main difference between retrieve and retrieve multiple here? So here it's like, in a simple words, if I want to say, for example, if there is an account table available and I want to retrieve only one record, for example, I hope you know that account is a table, then account ID will be a unique identifier in that table. So if you want to get the respective records ID, we can directly pass the account ID to get their respective record. So for that, we are just using a retrieve call in the Dataverse. So the option which we need to use is like, we need to use a entity logical name, and what is the GUID of the record, and what are the columns which we want to retrieve. So for that, we are using a retrieve call here. So what is the difference? I mean, what is mean by retrieve multiple? So the same way, if we are having an account table available, if you want to retrieve all the records, for example, more than one records. So for getting that values, we can use a retrieve multiple here. So like we can just use what is the retrieve. I mean, what we have used in the retrieve, the same we can use it in the retrieve multiple also. Like we can pass with the GUID also, or else we can use like account name contains some what can I say, some name. So such kind of validations also we can use in the retrieve multiple call. So the main difference is, in retrieve will return one record, retrieve multiple will return multiple records here. So let's go with bound and unbound action. So what is mean by bound and unbound action? So as I said, the retrieve. So we can relate the retrieve and bound action here. So if we want to run my action on a particular table, then we are calling that as a bound action. So for example, I have an account table available, and I want to trigger my action against a record. So if that is the case, I can directly use an account ID table over there, account ID value over there, and I can create a workflow against that. What can I say? The ID. So for that, we are calling that as an bound action. Then unbound action, we can relate it to a retrieve multiple. So what I'm just doing here, so I can directly use this unbound action in any number of tables. For example, if I create an unbound action, I can call this unbound action in any table. For example, I can call this action from contact table or account table or opportunity table, wherever it is. So we don't want to mention a particular table, entity table name here. Instead of that, we can directly set it as a global. So by using a global, we can directly call this unbound action from any places. So for that, we are just using an unbound and unbound action. So this is the main difference between bound and unbound action in Dataverse. So now, so how I'm just saying, as I said earlier, so the bound action. So here you can able to see I'm just using an entity called an account table. So account entity. So if I want to trigger this action, I can able to trigger this action only from account table. I can't trigger this action from any other table. So for that we are using an what can I say, table name as account. So here the red box whatever which is available here, we are passing the input parameters. So here we are having multiple input parameters like boolean entity, reference entity, collection, string, all those things are available. So by using that one, we can directly pass the input variable as a parameter, and we can get the output variable also as a parameter from the respective action. So now I'll go to Unbound Action. So as I said earlier, so the now here you can able to see entity is a none, which is of a global level. So what is global level? So we can call this action from any places, any from any table, like from account, opportunity, or contact table. So this is the main difference between the account bound and unbound table here, and how we are configuring it here. Now let's see what are the prerequisites which I'm just using in this demo. So here I'm just using a Microsoft Flow and out of box process, which is nothing but a Dataverse process. And I'm just using for a short demo for an unbound action using Visual Studio. And we'll just go with the plugin registration tool, but that is not needed, not a mandatory one. That's an optional one if you need it. And we are going to use a Canvas app as well here. So to trigger an action from Canvas Power App, go to Microsoft Flow, go to my Dataverse table, get all the values, and show the response in the Canvas app. So such kind of thing, we'll just see it out here. So now let's go with the demo here now. So now I'll just go to my table. So first I'll just go to make.powerautomate.com. So first I'll just show you where that action is available. So for a demo purpose, I'll just create an instant cloud flow. So I'll click on new step. I'll click on Dataverse, and here I'll search for action. So here you can able to see it is bound and unbound action. So these are the two things which we are going to have a look on today. So as I said earlier, if I click on bound action, so here you can able to see I need to pass a table name as a parameter and the action name, and here I need to pass a row ID as a input parameter here. Now I'll just go with an unbound action. So here in the unbound action, I don't want to have anything to be passed because this is an action. I can directly call the action. Based on this action, my unbound action will automatically get triggered. So this is the difference between the bound and an unbound action here. Now let's start the, let me go to make.powerapps.com. Now I'll create a new solution. Okay. Okay, let me just try creating a solution here. Okay, I think the solution creation is taking a lot of time. So let me just directly go with without the solution itself here. So for now, what I'll do for as I said earlier, I'm just going to create an action here. So I'll just go to settings. I'll go to process. I'll click on new. So here I'm just going to use an bound action here first. So which is nothing but trigger action from account. Let me select the category as action. I'll select the entity as account. So I'm just selecting the what can I say, the table as an account here. Now I'll just click on OK. Give me a second. Let me just stop presenting and see what happened to this environment. Only 1 second.
In case in between, if you have any questions, you can post your questions here.
Sorry, give me 5 minutes. I think that there is some issue with my environment.
Bye.
Okay, cool. Let me know once you can able to see my screen. I just chose to my another environment. Okay, cool. So now I just taken the other environment here because I'm not sure there is some issue with my other environment. So I'll just go to both of them. Okay, so I just created a solution here and I just choose the environment as well. So let's wait for the settings to get loaded here. So I'll just go to settings, solutions. I'll open the solution. I'll go to process. I'll create a new process here. Okay, so I'll just say trigger action from account. I'll select the category as action. I'll select the table as account. So I'll say it is an bound action. I'll click on OK. Okay, it's done. It's created. Now I'm just opening that action. So let it open. So within the meantime, I'll just go to my Power Automate, my what can I say, the Canvas Power App. I'll create a new app here. I'll just say Canvas app. I'll select the tablet mode. I'll say bound and unbound action. I'll click on create. Let the Canvas app gets created. Within the meantime, let's see whether it's loaded. Okay, it's getting loaded. So now what I'll do, I'll just rename this screen to account. I'll go to data source. I'll add a data source called account here. So my account table gets loaded here. So I'll just insert a gallery. I'll select the data source as accounts. So now the account, what are the accounts which is available in the Dataverse is automatically gets populated here. Now I'll just, okay, now the action gets created. Now what I want to do, I'll just create a parameters. I need to pass parameter from what can I say, the Canvas Power App to my what can I say, uh, the Canvas Power App to the action. So what I'll do, I'll just say I'm just passing. Consider I'm passing an account name as a parameter. So I'm just selecting it as a string, and I'm just saying it is an required, and I'm just selecting the direction as input. So now I'm just providing an action again, and I'm just returning the value to output um, to Power Apps, and I'll select the direction as output. So here now both of them are required, and the account name is the direction as input parameter, and here the output as an output parameter I provided. Now I'll just select the add step. Consider we are taking a session, taking the what can I say, uh, scenarios like from the Canvas Power App. I'm just going to input some values in the text. It is going to update that respective account name in the Dataverse environment using my action here. So what I'll do, I'll just go to add step, and I'll go to update a record. So I'll just set the properties. Sorry, today I'm not sure why the environment is too slow here, because before call I was trying to search with the other environment, but that was quite fast. Let it load. I don't want to waste the time here. So I'll just go to now here. I'm just going to enter a text label. I'll call this label as uh, provide new account name. I'll insert and I'll add a text input here. So now I'll add a button here. I'll call it as submit. So what I'll do, so here, for example, if I'm selecting this account and if the name is entered, I want this name to be updated with the name which I'm just providing here. So let me just see whether it's loaded. Yeah, now it's loaded here. I'll just select the action name here and I'll look for the arguments which I'm just getting the value from the as input parameter, and I'm just selecting this input account name as a value, and I'll just click on OK. So this is the value which I'm just going to update. So I'll just click on save and close. And once it is done, I'm just going to assign a value here for the output parameters to send the value is updated successfully as a success message. So I'll just click on assign value, set output value. Now I'll just select, for now I'm just setting some default value as success. I'll just click on OK. I'll save and close. Okay, I'll activate this flow now. Sorry, action. I'll let it load. So now on click of submit, I need to call the Power Automate. So I'll just click on create a new flow. So I'm creating from blank and I'll name it as trigger bound action from Power Apps. So I'll click on new step. I'll select the Dataverse. Let me just see whether it is still loading. Okay, because once it's activated, only the bound action will automatically gets displayed here until unless it won't display that value. So let me just think it's okay. It's activated. So now I'll just come here. I'll say search for action. I'll select bound action. I'll select the table as account. I'll select the action name. So what is the action name here? Which is nothing but CR2F7 underscore trigger action from action bound. So I just select this one, and the row ID need to get it. So I'll just get it from the Power Apps, and the action name I need to get it. So the account name. So I'll get that value also from the Power Apps. So once after I done that one, I need to respond to Power App. So I'll just select respond to Power App and I'll just add an action here. I'll say response from what can I say, Dataverse. So I need to send a response. So this is the output parameter from that action, from the what can I say, the action which we have added here. So I'll just select this one and I'll just save this record. So now the flow gets saved. So now I'm just waiting for the record to trigger. So what I'll do, so now the flow gets added successfully. So what I want to do now, so for now I'll just rename this gallery as gal account. So I'll click off submit. I need to call my action. So I'll say trigger found action from PowerApps.run, and here I need to pass the row ID. So I'll say gal account dot selected dot account. I'll pass the account ID there. Then I'm just going to pass the account name. So here I'll just say txt account name. I'll just copy this one. I'm just passing the text as well here. So that's it now. So what I'm just going to do now, I'm just running this app and I've just selected this app because this is the value whatever which I just selected, or else I'll just do another one thing. I'll just take a copy of this one. I'll say account ID. So here I'll select the default as gal account dot selected dot account. So this is the GUID which I'm just passing it here. So on click of this one, I'll select gal account ID. I'll just copy this one. So instead of getting the value from there, I'm just directly passing the text which is available in the what can I say from the text box. So now I just want to provide a message here as well. So let's say I'm just going to say this as set get response from action. As we have passed the what can I say output parameter, I'm just getting that value and I'm storing it in this what can I say variable, and I'm just going to pass the variable over here. So now let's see. I'll just provide the account name as demo account to update. I'll just click on submit. Let's wait for the process to complete. So now here you can able to see we got a success response here. So now what I'll do, I'm just refreshing the data source here. So here you can able to see the value whatever which was there is updated to the new value from here. So let me just go to my flow and show you what it done. So I'll just go to my flow. Sorry. So here you can able to see. So we just made a bound action. So we are getting that parameter from the text boxes, and this is the value to update. And this is the response parameter where we are getting from that bound action, and we are returning the respond from whatever value which we are getting from the action, and we are returning back to the Canvas Power App. So this is just a bound action which we are using. So I'll just come up with the overview here because of the network glitch. I think we may miss something. So I'll just go with the step-by-step flow. So what I have done, I just created a solution. I created a process. While creating a process, I selected the entity as account. Then I say input and I have added two input parameters, and I have added a step. One step is called update an account. So what that update account will do, what is the input parameter value which we are getting, that value I'm just going to update it, and an output parameter, and I just set the default value for the output parameter as success. Now once after we done this one, I just saved this one and I activated that process. Then I opened to my Microsoft Flow, sorry, make.powerapps.com. I created a Canvas app, and in that Canvas app, I added a vertical gallery. In that gallery, I selected my data source as an account. Once after I selected, I had two text boxes. One is to value to update the account ID, and another one is to update the to get the GUID from the gallery. So once after I done that one, I added a button. In that button, I'm just calling my what can I say the Microsoft Flow. There I have written a bound action, And once after I done that one, if I click on submit, it will send the parameter from my Power Apps, and it will send the data to my Canvas Microsoft Flow, and Microsoft Flow will automatically trigger my Dataverse, and it is getting a response from there. So this is what we have done it in the bound action. Let's see a quick view for the unbound action as well. So let me just go here. I'll create a new. I'll say trigger action from flow hyphen unbound. I'll select the category as action. I'll select the entity as none. I'll click on OK. So once after this done, so the same way what I'll do, I'll just pass the input parameter as what can I say, in INP variable. I'll select it as a string. I'll provide an output variable, and I'll just select it as a string, and I'll just select it as an output parameter. So now for the unbound action, I'll just go with the two type of things. One is with the Visual Studio Code, and another one is the what can I say, direct calling from the what can I say, Microsoft Flow. So first I'll just go with the Visual Studio part because of the time constraint. So what I'll do now, I'll just input out the values called input variable and output variable here. So I'll just activate this what can I say, this flow. So once after I've done this one, I'll just go to my Visual Studio. I'll create a new Visual Studio now, create a new project, and I'll just select the class library. I'll click on next. I'll select it as an unbound action. I'll input the project name here. I'll click on create. So once after I done this one, so I'll just add the assemblies. I'll search for crm.sdk. I'll install this one. So here what I'm just going to do in the unbound action is, so I'm just going to get the count of account from the Dataverse, and I'm just going to return that count to my Power Apps using Microsoft Flow. So let it create. So within the midterm, I'll go to my Canvas Power App. I'll create a new screen. I'll rename it as Unbound account. So what I'll do now, I'll just insert an label. I'll call it as get count of record count of account table. Then I'll just input another label as well here. So now I'll just input and add a button as well here. I'll just say get count from Dataverse. So I'm done with this one. I'll just go to my Visual Studio. I'll click on accept. Okay, it's all added now. So okay, it's added. I'll just go here. I'll just rename this class. I'll rename it to get account values. So I'm done this one. So what I'll do now, I'll just create a class here. So I'll just use iPlugin. So once after I done this one, so I'll just use the, come on. interfaces. So the interface is done now. So I have already written a code for this one. So what I'll do, I'll just directly copy paste that code, whatever which I have done already. So I'll just explain what I have done it or what done here. So here, these are all the basic things of which we all know, like I'm just getting the context and I'm just getting the service factory and I'm just getting the service values over there. So once after I done that one, I'm just directly using the query expression to the table called account, and I'm just getting the column set as account, and I'm just getting all the account table here. So once after I done that one, I have an output parameter and I'm just passing the output parameter values from the count of the query expression. So here, what is the output parameter here? So as per our unbound action, the output parameter is out parameter variable. So I'll just pass that one here. I'll just save this. Now I'll just go to properties. I'll add a sign in key as well here. Let me save a demo. I'll just save this. I'll just build this one. So I'll open my plugin registration tool. I'll create a new connection. 1 second. Let's wait for the plugin registration tool to get loaded. So now my plugin registration tool gets loaded successfully. So what I'll do now? So we are having an what can I say, the action. So I'm just going to register this plugin against that action. So I'll just right click. I'll go to the folder. I'll copy this one. I'll go to registered new assembly. I'll just paste this one. I'll go to bin debug. I'll put this DLL. I'll click on register in the selector step. It's registered. So once after I done this one, so I want to register this assembly against the plugin from the unbound action. So I'll just say it is, we have added a trigger action from the flow unbound. So I'll just select this one. So I'll make sure this is the one. Yeah, trigger action from flow unbound. I'll select this one. I don't want a primary entity here because this is from a global. So I'm just selected both as none. I'll select it as a post operation. I'll click on register new step. Now this step is registered here. Now what I'll do, I'll go to my what can I say, the Power Apps, and I'll create a new flow here. Click on new flow. I'll add a step. I'll go to Dataverse. I'll go for an action. I'll select the unbound action. I'll wait for the action to name to display. I'll search for this one. I'll going to call an unbound action. I'll select this unbound action here. It is asking for an input variable because we have an input variable over there. So for now, I'm just putting it as demo because we are not using that input variable in any of our code. So for now, I'm just putting it as a demo. And here, I'm just going to respond this to PowerApp. I'm just going to add a variable as text. I'll say output parameter. And here you can able to see this is the output parameter from the response from the unbound action. So I'll just save this one. So once after I done this one, I'm just going to directly call this from here. So I'll just say Power Apps flow dot run off. So here I'm just going to, as we had done earlier, I'm just going to set a variable get count of accounts dot output parameter. So now I'll just copy this one, and here I'm just going to pass it as a default value here. So now let me just directly click on get count of for a Dataverse. So here you can able to see we got the record count as 5. So how this works? So I'll just go to my what can I say, make.powerautomate.com. I'll open this Unbound Action. So I'll just open this Unbound Action. So I'm just what we are doing, we are just directly passing this, we are calling this action. So what this action will, once after this call, what the web API will do. So the web API will directly go to this action and it will trigger the action. So while calling this action, what it will do, as we have registered in the plugin registration, so this will call this step, the message, this will automatically gets initiated. So what we have written in this assembly, so we have written in this assembly stating get the account from the CRM system and get the values, get how many count available, get all the count and return it as an output parameter. So once after this code runs, what it will do, we will get an output variable here. Then it will directly come to the output variable here as an what can I say, output parameter. So once after we get the output parameter, we are responding back to the PowerApp. So once after we get the response, we are storing this what can I say, the parameter in the get count of account, and we are displaying it in the get count of account values here. So this is what we are doing it in the what can I say, bound and unbound action. So here not only restricted to this bound and unbound action, like whether we are calling an action or the plugin we want to call. So we can use for an bound action also, we can schedule this type of what can I say, the assembly, and we can deploy it in a plugin registration tool, and we can call that one as well here. So these are all like due to time constraint and because of my network glitch, I'm able to show a lot of things, but unfortunately I can able to show these two stuffs only today for the bound and unbound action here. Yes, I think I'm pretty much completed the all of the stuffs here. So let's go for Q&A if any available. Venkat, do we have any questions?
So I don't see any questions, Ram.
Okay, cool.
So to the participants, if you have any questions regarding the this respective session, please unmute yourself and ask Ram Prakash
Yeah.
so that he can explain you in detail if you have any queries.
Cool then. So what I'll do once after the call over, I'll just share my blog URL and the details which I'm just posting it out here. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any queries related to the Dataverse or Power Platform related thing, or with the SharePoint, or with CRM or Azure related function apps or logic apps, or with any MVC applications. So just feel free to reach out to me. So I'm just eager to help you out related to the topics which we have discussed here. And apart from this topic, if you need any suggestions also, please feel to reach out to me. So I'm ready to help you out.
So thank you so much for joining, everyone. We really appreciate your presence. We hope that you are taking away some powerful new learnings from this session. And thanks to Ram for an
Yeah.
amazing session on how to create Power Apps and call Unbound and Action using Dataverse, and sharing
Yep.
your knowledge with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And each and every year, you people are providing, calling me and asking for a session. So that's good to hear. And I'm just waiting for the next session as well to participate in the 365 community champs here. So yes, and once again, thanks for Dynamicity and for the 365 champs for providing this opportunity.
Yeah, thanks, Ram. And nobody will stop us because you are an you can say an Wikipedia for the hands-on implementation for a few of the complex scenarios which we are seeing. So
Yeah.
we will definitely want you to use this particular stage so that the people will get benefit out of it. Okay, that's why we
Yep.
will not take any thing. We are not reluctant to his. We are not hesitate or not reluctant to contact you because you are every time helping us during
Yeah.
whenever we ask this.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
just I will stop my recording for a few minutes. Maybe yes,